this is a good deal?
I think it's the best thing that we could have hoped for in the current situation. The number one thing that matters is getting all of the hostages home. So we have to be vigilant on that front. But look at what's occurred in the 400-plus days since October 7. This thing has been mismanaged by Joe Biden every step of the way, whether it's undermining Israel and what they're trying to accomplish, trying to basically give away the farm to Hamas.
No argument there.
They were giving the farm away to the Iranians.
100%.
They took off the sanctions that President Trump put on.
Okay, no argument there. But President Trump clearly not only endorses this deal, but is taking credit for it. Mm-hmm. If it's a good deal for Israel and a good deal for the United States, why is Hamas and its gunmen celebrating?
I think maybe in part because maybe there's some people that are coming back the other way in exchange and hostages, and that might be why
1,300 terrorists.
But the key thing with what's going to happen in the Middle East is we have to put the economic sanctions back on Iran. If we put those sanctions back on, what it does is it squeezes their ability to finance terror around the globe and in the Middle East. That is the number one important thing that needs to occur when you get all the hostages back, because we would not have been in this place
without Iran.
If Joe Biden had just kept what Donald Trump did in place when he came in office.
Complete agreement there. And that's what is making this so perplexing to me, because one of the issues all along has been Joe Biden's pressure on Israel. Mm-hmm. And Netanyahu has stood very firm against that pressure by Joe Biden.
Yes.
And then in the last days of Joe Biden's presidency, Donald Trump comes in and puts immense pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to make the deal Biden wanted.
Well, real quick, and I want to push back on that. It's one thing to oppose the pressure from Joe Biden when you know that he's undermining you at every step of the turn and empowering your adversaries. Benjamin Netanyahu knows that Donald Trump is going to stand behind Israel every step of the way. So it is much easier to support that kind of agreement because you know you have the support of the American president. But when it was Joe Biden, you knew you did not have full support. That makes all the difference in the world.
Completely fair point. And there's a question mark here, right? And you think about what this deal actually is. 6 weeks of a ceasefire in phase one, 33 hostages to be released, of whom only 23 are alive, 2 Americans. 1,000 Palestinian terrorists released, 600 humanitarian aid trucks enter Gaza daily, IDF withdraws from populated areas. And this is a lot of what Hamas was asking for and what Benjamin Netanyahu didn't want to give. Was there some promise made to Benjamin Netanyahu, a little sweetener from Donald Trump? Hey, do this, give me a win for my inauguration. And after those 6 weeks, the gloves come off?
I can't speak to that because I wasn't involved in those conversations. What I will say is, for the Jewish people around the globe, obviously everybody in Israel, the number one thing they've wanted is to get those hostages home. That's going to occur. Number two, rest assured that under a presidency of Donald Trump, we're going to be putting back on the same sanctions regime that squeezed a lot of the ability to foment terror in the region out of that region. So I think if you're Benjamin Netanyahu today, you know who's coming in. You've worked with Donald Trump before. Israel was in a significantly better place when he was president of the United States, and you have a partner that has your interests at heart.
So there's no worry by you that this signifies to Iran and to Hamas that Donald Trump is more interested in a deal than he is in unconditional surrender by Hamas?
No, I don't think so, because I think the Iranian regime, if we go back to the campaign, it was clear they did not want Donald 100%. Trump to be president of the United States.
And again, that's what makes this so perplexing to me, because you say that, yes, correctly, Israelis want the hostages home, Americans want the hostages home.
Right.
But there's a difference between a deal and a good deal, and I'm trying to figure out again, when you're sending 1,000 terrorists back, and it's essentially the same deal that Republicans chastised Joe Biden for pressuring the Israelis into, how that's a good deal.
Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
If this were the deal 430 days ago, I think there would be a lot more concern. But you're now 467 days later after October 7. There's been no movement whatsoever from Hamas. Hamas has walked away from the table countless times, many different agreements. The agreements that the Biden administration tried to do, the reason why they were effectless is because Hamas and everybody else in the region understood that Joe Biden was trying to save his own political skin, not thinking about the interests of Israel in that region. That is a fact. So now that Donald Trump is coming back, if you're Hamas, you're like, shoot, where was that last deal? Let's sign that thing as quickly as we can. Because if Donald Trump is in there, like he put out on social media about, 2-3 weeks ago, if those hostages aren't home, you will have hell to pay.
So why not just have hell to pay for the terrorists?
But hold on real quick, and this is important. So if you're Hamas and you're looking at Donald Trump coming back in, you're saying, you know what was the last deal? We better try to get that thing done before he comes in, because then the pressure ratchets up.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.